Over the last 25 years, I've had the privilege of interviewing and highlighting some truly interesting people. Everyone who is anyone, both the famous and the infamous, from presidents and their first ladies to kings and queens, movie stars and pop stars, captains of industry, heads of state, sports personalities, innovative entrepreneurs, and some pretty fascinating everyday people. Today, I'm happy to introduce you to Jacob Fisher, who attributes his success to self-diligence and the ability to work the collaborative relationships he has formed thus far. Jacob, I'm so happy to chat with you today. Why don't you tell me a little bit about your early beginnings and what led you to where you are now?
So I grew up in a small little kind of community. Everyone knew everyone. I kind of always knew I wanted to get into education and into healthcare in some sense. I just wasn't really fully sure the correct path, so to speak, that I would be taking, kind of where I would fully end up. When I started school, I started in the natural science avenue just to kind of figure out, again, fully what I would like to do, and then I ventured into the nursing area.
So when you entered college, at what point did you decide that you wanted to become involved in medicine? What was the reason that medicine drew you?
I always had an interest in medicine and in the human body and kind of how it all worked. I did that first year as a natural science just to kind of feel out some different avenues. And it was midway through the first year that I decided I'm making that switch into nursing to have that kind of personable, hands-on approach with people.
So tell me a little bit about why you chose nursing, because nursing is a different area within medicine, and I'm curious as to what was that motivation specifically.
When I first entered college, I had that intention of kind of taking the physician's assistant route. As I was going through, I kind of figured I wanted to do more of that hands-on approach, be connected with the patient in a different way than a PA would be. So I made that switch into the nursing program, and since then I've never looked back.
Well, I'm someone who is a health advocate. I think you know that as the national spokesperson for the American Heart Association. I've been national volunteer for over a decade now because I'm a heart disease survivor. And I can tell you for certain, when I was going through my open heart surgery, of course, my surgeons and the cardiologists, they saved my life. But the people who I relied upon without question, that very first few days were my nurses in the hospital. And so I, on behalf of patients everywhere, really do thank you for your dedication. I think nurses are the ones that really and truly keep the medical system going. I think it's the foundation of the medical system.
Right, everyone kind of has their role, and then I feel like the nurse is kind of that puzzle piece, helping to connect the medical provider who's not there all the time, or the physical therapist who is kind of overseeing parts of the patient's care.
100% agree. Jacob, when you look back over your career and your personal life in general, what would you say is the most important lesson that you've learned?
Keep moving forward. Persevere. When the going gets rough, you have to kind of take a step back and replan, reevaluate, following kind of that nursing process approach. What do I have to get done? What do I want to get done? How do I get things done? What resources might I need to accomplish the task at hand?
So as I'm thinking about it, one of the things that you have emphasized throughout your career is diligence. Why is diligence so important?
Without diligence, I feel like we really just can't have that internal motivation. We need that internal flame to kind of keep us going, to get things done. And again, things aren't always as great as they seem, but they're also not always as bad as they may seem. So it's that kind of, you got to dig deep sometimes just to really figure out what is happening here. What do I have the ability to do versus what might I need assistance with or different resources to help?
What do you find to be the most rewarding aspect of your life and your career?
Being that I'm in nursing education now is helping students understand that kind of same philosophy, so to speak, that we all have a piece in this puzzle, and you make the piece what you make it out to be. So again, finding your self-diligence. Sometimes that exam might not have gone how you wanted it to, or that clinical experience may have been the worst ever because X, Y, and Z happened. But it's, again, that digging deep and really figuring out and reflecting on, why do you want this? So in my current role, I was previously a faculty member, and I just transitioned into a program director position. So now it's, again, kind of helping the greater patient population, helping the greater profession of nursing by helping to educate nursing students properly and letting them know that when things don't always go as we think they or should go or how we want them to go, there's plans, there's avenues that we can take to kind of re-gear back to that plan.
You know, since I have you here as a health educator, I have to ask you this. What challenges are you facing right now, especially considering the current COVID-19 pandemic, and really how can those challenges be overcome?
So we have some challenges really, and they base partially on the size of the current institution I'm at. Being a smaller type private college, we don't have a residence hall, which kind of helps in that sense of coordinating people on campus and whatnot. But the big thing has been embracing the technology, using Zoom to connect with students, using emails and discussion boards, maybe a little more than we are used to, but helping students to feel connected. We have some different educational technology we can incorporate in. So we can still meet the rigor of the learning process needed in nursing education, just in a different way. And this kind of stems back to, again, being diligent, figuring out what's our end goal, what do we have to do to adjust to meet that end goal.
And then I'm going to add another word, being flexible. It's important to have your diligence match flexibility, because you never know how you're going to have to adapt and change to whatever the given circumstances are.
Right, and that kind of stems back down to the students too, letting them know that, we're new to this just as they are. So we all have to work together, which is what the nursing profession is built on.
Let's look ahead a minute, Jacob. Where do you see yourself in the future, either personally, professionally, or both?
So I currently am in a PhD program in nursing education. I have about a year left to complete that. I'm really interested in that whole kind of research process, the research in education. So eventually I'd like to get into some research, maybe not as a full-time sort of career, but as the way to kind of keep abreast in the changes that are happening. I recently, within the past month, am transitioning into a program director position, so kind of taking that next step in the leadership component of education. So down the road, maybe into a position such as a dean or an educational consultant to kind of, again, further embrace the needs of nursing students to help fix and help mend the nursing profession in the way that we need to have it so we're meeting patient needs.
Jacob, if you could leave the viewer with one last thought, what would it be?
Be open-minded, be adaptable, and hit the ground running.
I think that's a very good last thought. It's important for young people who are starting out in their career, and even more mature people who are moving to the next phase of their career. Diligence, adaptability, and openness will get you very far. Thank you very much, Jacob, for your time today.
Thank you.